On the night the baby was born, the moon hid its face behind dark clouds, and the wind howled through the thatched roofs as if the spirits of the ancestors were restless. Women who had gathered around Obiageli, the mother, whispered among themselves, saying such a night was not a good sign for a child to come into the world. Chickens refused to settle, dogs barked without stopping, and even the old palm wine tapper, who always sang while coming home from the bush, fell silent when he heard the cry of the newborn. The cry was not ordinary. It was soft, almost weak, but it carried a strange echo that made the hairs on people's skin rise. The baby was a girl, and her father, Okeke, smiled with joy as he lifted her tiny body. But that joy did not last long. One of the elder women pointed at the child's legs and shook her head. They were twisted in a way that made walking almost impossible. Another woman pointed at her eyes, which were wide and glassy, and whispered that they looked like the eyes of someone who saw things ordinary people could not see. At once, the whispers grew louder. "This child is not normal," someone muttered. "She is a shame that will bring sorrow." But Okeke and Obiageli did not listen to the murmurs. They wrapped the baby with soft cloth, and Okeke named her Nena, meaning mother has returned, hoping that the child will carry blessings from the spirit of his late mother. He kissed her forehead and promised to protect her. Still, the village was not kind. In those days, people believed too much in signs and omens, and because of the twisted legs and the strange cry, families stopped visiting Okeke's compound. When the market women saw Obiageli carrying her child, they looked away. When children gathered to play, they laughed when Nena tried to join, her steps slow and stumbling. Nena grew up in silence, hiding behind her mother's wrapper when people mocked her. But her parents poured all the love they had into her life. Okeke carried her on his back when going to the farm, and Obiageli told her stories every evening, reminding her that shame cannot kill love, and that sometimes what the world rejects is what heaven has chosen. Slowly, Nena learned to weave mats with her hands, and though her legs failed her, her tongue was sharp and her mind bright. She began to tell stories that even grown men listened to, stories of the tortoise and the lion, stories of foolish kings and wise children. Her voice carried warmth, and when she spoke, even the children who mocked her drew close to listen. But still, the villagers refused to accept her. They said she was a bad sign and they warned their children not to get too close.
Then one day, something happened that changed everything. From the forest that bordered the village, strange footprints appeared near the yam barns. At first, people thought it was a wandering leopard, but soon goats were missing. Chickens disappeared, and the sound of growls filled the night. One hunter went into the forest to track the creature and never returned. Another came back with scratches on his body, his eyes wide with fear. He said he saw a beast unlike anything he had known, a creature with the head of a hyena, the body of a man, and claws like sharpened knives. The village trembled. The elders called for sacrifices at the shrine, but nothing stopped the attacks. Each night, the beast came closer, and soon it no longer stole only animals. It dragged away children who wandered too far from the compound. Fear ruled the village. Men whispered that the gods were angry. Women cried at night, and the chief promised a bag of cowries and 10 goats to any warrior who could defeat the creature. Many tried, many failed. Some did not return at all. And in the midst of this terror, people began to point again at Nena and her parents. "Have we not said it?" they muttered. "That girl is the reason for our troubles. Since she came, peace has left us." They even went to Okeke's hut one night and demanded that he take his family and leave the village. Okeke stood tall, his chest bare and his hands clenched. "You can mock me," he said. "You can turn your backs, but you will not chase me and my child away. The land of my fathers is my land, and I will not leave." With that, he closed his door, and they left, grumbling. But Nena heard everything. She lay awake on her raffia mat and cried quietly. She wondered why she had been born if all she brought was shame. She asked her mother, "Mama, Why did the gods make me like this? Oblajeli pulled her close and whispered, "My child, the gods do not make mistakes. Even the palm tree that grows bent still gives sweet wine." That night, Nena had a dream. In it, she stood at the edge of the forest, and the beast came towards her. Its eyes glowed red, its mouth dripping with blood, but when it reached her, it stopped and bowed its head. A voice she could not see said to her, "The one they call shame will break the terror. What others fear will listen to her." She woke trembling, her body covered in sweat. She told her parents, and while Okeke was worried, Obiajeli believed. She told her husband, sometimes a child hears the voice of destiny even before the elders. The next morning, the beast struck again, dragging away a farmer's son. Wailing filled the air, and the elders gathered in despair. It was then that Okeke carried Inenna on his back and went to the square. The people jeered at first. Why bring her here? Has shame not cost us enough pain? But Okeke silenced them. You have tried everything and failed. Let my child speak. Inenna raised her weak voice, but it carried across the square. She told them of her dream, of how the beast bowed before her. Some laughed, some spat on the ground, but others, weary from loss, were willing to try anything. The chief, an old man with weary eyes, nodded slowly. Let her go. If she fails, then we will know she has deceived us. So it was agreed. That evening, when the moon was high, Okeke carried his daughter to the forest's edge. Warriors with spears followed at a distance, ready to drag her away if danger came. But Inenna asked them not to follow too closely. If the beast must listen, it will only do so when I am alone. Her parents wept, but trusted her. She sat on a flat rock, her legs twisted beneath her, and waited. The forest was silent, except for the chirping of crickets. Then came the sound, a heavy step, a low growl, eyes glowing in the dark. The beast emerged, taller than a man, its claws shining, its teeth bared. The warriors gripped their spears, but Inenna lifted her hand, and they froze. The beast came closer, sniffing the air, growling deep in its throat. Inenna's heart pounded, but she remembered the dream. She did not scream or run. Instead, she began to sing, a song her mother always sang to her when she cried at night. Her voice was shaky at first, then strong. The beast stopped, tilted its head, and listened. Slowly, it lowered itself to the ground, like a dog before its master. The people watching gasped. Inenna reached out her hand, trembling, and touched its head. The beast whimpered like a child.
From that day, the beast never attacked the village again. It stayed in the forest, and whenever Nena sang, it came and lay at her feet like a guardian. The people could not believe it. They who had called her shame now called her savior. Children who once mocked her now followed her around, asking her to tell stories. Women who once turned away now offered her food and gifts. The chief himself declared, the gods have hidden wisdom in what we despise. From today, Nena is no longer shame, but the mother of our safety. And as if the heavens wanted to seal this joy, months later, Obiageli conceived again after many years. She gave birth to a healthy boy, strong and loud in his cry. The people came with gifts, saying the family that once knew rejection now carried double blessings. But Nena did not feel replaced. She held her baby brother with love, knowing that her place in the story of the village was already carved. Years passed, and whenever fear rose in the land, the elders reminded the people of the girl whose twisted legs walked into destiny, whose voice tamed the beast, and whose shame became her strength. They said, the stone the builders rejected has become the corner of the house, And parents told their children, "Do not laugh at what you do not understand, for even the smallest basket can carry water if the gods so choose." And so Nena's tale was carried from one generation to the next, told by moonlight, remembered by fire, teaching that love can outlive shame, and that sometimes the child who is mocked is the one chosen to save all.